Welcome to the Leroy Carlton Show. I am your host, Leroy Carlton, and man, I have a special treat for you today. And wow, first of all, I want to say that all things, all things you can accomplish when you put God first. And I will say that on every video that we do. You put God first, anything is possible. But before we get started, I want to say a quick prayer. Let us pray. Father, we come before you with the childlike hearts and hopes. We know that to truly see you, we must step aside from the world and graze humbly on the simple things that makes life remarkable. It's hard to imagine what thoughts might have crossed the mind of Mary as she awaited the birth of the child she carried. Surely it was more mystery than anything else to her to know that somehow you had chosen her to bring Jesus to live among us. Help us now to come to you with pure hearts, simply for just the joy of being in your presence. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I am first of all honored to bring on this guest I'm about to bring on, and I'm gonna give you a quick story. A leader asked me and my wife to take this man to his hotel room. And the reason for that was we was rookies in the financial industry. And the goal was to pick his brain to see what he knew and what he could tell us. But what we really didn't know is this was the beginning of his journey. Now, his team, that is called Team Elite, at the time that I met him, he only had 20 members. He had no idea that what was about to take place for him was going to be huge. Now he got in the car. Me, him, and my wife were driving to take him to his hotel, and we hit it off right off the bat. We talked about everything but finance. And we took him to the hotel, we dropped him off, and then we say, hey, we'll see you tomorrow morning. And we pulled off. We got a call 5 minutes later. Hey, bro, uh, right company, wrong hotel. So we had to come back, pick him up, and take him to his right hotel. Now, at that particular time, again, we said, okay, see you tomorrow morning. We're going to get up, get together, and eat breakfast because we were taking him to the airport to fly home. When we got to the breakfast spot, that's when the magic happened. We sat down and we talked about everything pertaining to finance. Now, here's a father of 6 kids. He has 5 boys, 1 girl. I had the pleasure of meeting his beautiful wife, Desiree, of 15 years. He served 6 years in the Coast Guard. I'm sorry about that. He worked in education in the enrollment section for 10 years. Then he ventured over to the financial industrial for 10 years, where he created multi-million dollar businesses. He helped several people make 6 figures and promote them to leadership positions. He had over 350 licensed agents. He runs a free referral platform with over 4,000 1099 people on the platform. That's amazing. He's a partner in Top Notch ERC with 3 of his business partners that built that to $300 million in just 18 months. He is also a co-founder of Vantage Financial Alliance, and his biggest thing that he probably won't tell you that, but I think it's one of his biggest things. He just purchased a F-45 gem with 3 other business partners. So I say all this because After meeting this brother, he not only became a mentor, he became a friend, he became a brother, and now to us, he's part of the family now. So I want to bring on my man, Jayson Bove. What's up?
Oh man, what up, Leroy? Hey man, hey, that be fired me up. Hey, I remember. Well, let's be real. That first interaction was that little Denny's. You know, we had that moons over my hammy. It was
Oh
good.
yeah.
And then
Oh yeah.
we got that good breakfast the next day. But I mean, I'm excited to be here, man. Tell Tommy I love her, man. I know I get to see your face today, but I know who's running the show back there.
Oh yeah. No
Now,
doubt.
now I'm excited to be here, though, man. Thank you for that intro. It's kind of crazy when you sit back. I remember sitting with you and being where I was at in my business, and then to see all the stuff that's happened since then. You've been an integral part of all that too. So I'm excited to be here, man. Fired up.
Hey, I'm glad to have you on because you are, and you know, it's funny because Natalie said something earlier today that, you know, God gave you a vision and then he gave you a name. And when she said that, you know, I didn't really think about it until she said that, but that was, wow, that was true. That was true. You were the first name that popped in my head when I came up with this idea of doing this show.
Yeah, I'm so excited for you.
So, my thing now is, okay, here's my first question to you.
All right.
Now, we've been in the financial industrial for quite some time. And I met you just as your journey was beginning.
Yep.
And you had no idea that it was going to take off like it did. But here's my first question.
Okay.
What made you want to come in this industrial to start off the way that you did?
Well, I'll tell you, it's, you know, sometimes you just mentioned that thing with what Natalie said about, you know, God gives you a name and then an idea and then a name pops, right? You know, I loved my career at University of Phoenix. You know, I was there for a decade. I mean, it was cool. You know, we both got our military. Thank you for your service. You know, you did a little bit longer than me, right? But when I left the military, you know, when you transition out of that, you know, this, especially you did 30 years, did mine 6. I didn't know what I was going to do. So, you know, God lined up that plan for me to go work at University of Phoenix, and I was there 10 years, and I was excelling. And I remember this like it was yesterday. My mother-in-law called me, and she says, "Hey, I want you to meet this finance guy." Now, my dad and my parents, we don't have finance people. Okay. My dad's a retired cop, 14 years in the Army, right? My mom stayed home most of her life, owned a salon for a little bit. So at first, when she said that, I'll be honest, I was like, finance guy? Like, what are you talking about? Like, nah, I'm good, right? But persistency is key. So long story short, I met with Jesus and Vivian. I was out in California, and I had a conversation with them. And in 30 minutes, I learned more about the financial concepts and financial information than I had learned from my bachelor's degree. My wife had her master's degree. We did all that. A 30-minute conversation. I learned more than I had learned up to that stage of my life at 33 years old. And it captivated me because I didn't understand how could I possibly served our nation, went and got a degree, been at a job for 10 years. And then the first time I'm hearing about the Rule 72, how money grows, how money's taxed, is from a random guy I'm meeting in California that I never even knew existed on this earth. And that fueled a fire in me. But I'll tell you what so that got me going, right? I'm thinking, and I'm like, oh, you know, I'm Italian, you know, you're Italian boys, you know, your mom, you're 33 years old, you're still mama's boy. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't know this yet. I don't know why I thought that, Leroy. I was like, I'm 33 years old, but I was like, maybe I shouldn't know this yet. But I will tell you that what, and I can't get his look off of my face for the life of me. When I went to my dad and me and Jesus sat with him, and, you know, I love the way our business does it. You know, we get to get trained by a professional. So I'm sitting there in, you know, the industry, right? And
Right.
But it's unique in our industry because we get trained by a professional the whole way through. So I'm sitting there and I'm taking notes, and he's asking my dad the same questions. I'm expecting my pops to flex up on this dude and just drop nuggets on him. And I'm listening to my dad not say nothing. And I'm like, Dad, come on, Pops. Like, right. So the look on his face, Leroy, when you told this 57-year-old man that there was these accounts that can't lose money, and he's been just he lost 2001, he lost 2008, and we're sitting at this table at 2015. And the look in his eyes, I said, there ain't no one ever going to look like that ever again in my life. Even if it takes me till the end of my days, I'm going to make sure families understand this information. And that's the fire you've seen since you met me. And anytime I need to rebalance, right, when life gets crazy, I was thinking my pops. And I'm like, there's a lot of other pops out there that probably feel in the same way. They got kids that were me. And if we don't go get this information out there, they're not going to get help. So that's where it came. That's where it came from, man.
And it's funny because when you asked me to come on to your team, which is Team Elite, and for all of you agents out there who, let's just say you're not happy with where you are, the ticker right here will show you where you need to be. And this is the reason why I love Jayson Bove, because here you're truly independent. You don't have to recruit. It's not a requirement.
Yep.
We train to get you to the point of where you need to be. Because, and just to sum it up real quick, let's go. Truly independent.
Yep.
Complete financial. We're going to make you a complete agent.
Oof.
Complete financial agent. You don't need to recruit to grow. We are a unified team and true leaders who care about the agents and the clients.
Oh,
and we all have one vision. And out of all of that,
God first.
God first. Now, when you brought me on to Elite, you had 20 members at the time. 20 members. And it grew to, oh my goodness.
Let me get the exact number. Yeah. We creeping right now. We're making that move. Yeah, I think we the first 3 weeks we went over 140 licenses in 3 weeks of what we're moving in. Every day it's growing, man. But I want to say something real quick back to you on this. I think it's important. You know, you brought us the complete agent line we talk about because it's important, right? Let's give credit where credit's due, right? There's one of the 3 main things we do. And I remember having that conversation with you and you were talking to the team, and like, this is something that the industry needs, right? This is a very, very important job that we do for families. And when you had made that comment, like, man, we got to make sure people are complete agents. Like, we knew that basic, but really, really understanding. I just talked to a couple in Michigan right now before I got on here. And I told them, I said, man, like, the industry needs more people like you, real people that literally just want to do the right thing. We will teach you the ins and outs. But if you can really sit down and do a full financial needs analysis and help these families, I said, you'll be the best person in this whole space. It's not about degrees and this and that. It's about people feeling comfortable enough with you to know you're going to do the right thing by them. And then boom, you can transform this entire industry. And so I appreciate you for that. So you get that nugget back at you, young man.
Well, let me throw this at you.
Okay.
Being as though you've been doing this for a while now.
Yep.
What is your most passionate thing about being in the financial industry?
I'll say it. Let me give both answers. So from the family side first. So the serving side, what we do in that. So I'm gonna give an answer from the training the agents and that part, because you know I'd be loving that. And then I'm gonna talk about the family side, right? But on the family side, dude, it's giving them hope. You know, at the end of the day, Leroy, we've both been doing this for a while. I know your story and why you're doing a lot of the foundations you're building and your mom. Like, there's a lot of things that we do in life, but I feel like right now people need hope. So I feel like the financial education and literacy that we give these families, give them hope. We both know this doesn't mean they're going to move with it all. It doesn't mean they're going to take it right away and do what they need to do. But to me, when we're done, and I can look in those the parents' eyes that know they got kids or individuals or business owners, and they know that we gave them something of value, which is knowledge that can be transcended into the next into whoever they want to share that with. It's that hope we give them of a brighter future. The fact that they might actually be able to retire. The fact that if they are 65 right now, there is a way to protect some of that wealth so it can not just last into their life, but pass down to the next generation. So a young couple that's just starting out, knowing that, hey, if you follow these strategies we're giving you, when you're 30, 40, 50 years old, you'll have the things that you want. So on the client side, it's hope, man. We give them the ability to dream again, to feel like someone's in their corner, and to say, hey, if you take this information, you apply it over time, like anything else, it takes time. You can get your family in a much better spot than it is today. So that's from the family serving side. The agent side, oh, dude, where do you want me to go? I could be here all day. But here's the deal. Like, I love watching people come in that have no industry experience, just like we didn't, right? And grow into leaders and entrepreneurs. Because at the end of the day, man, to learn what we do really isn't too difficult, right? We could pick it up pretty quick, but taking somebody that's got that drive, maybe they didn't get picked for that promotion. Maybe they've been at their job for 10 years and they're feeling overlooked. Maybe they know inside of them, they're sitting there and their body's, it's burning. They got this something inside of them that they were supposed to be great. And being a little tiny seed that allows them to grow into the entrepreneur they're meant to be and unleash God's gifts. We talk about this every time. God put gifts in each one of us, right? And it's all unique and different. So the reality is, if we can get people to unlock those gifts in an environment that cultivates success, just watching the growth of these, and you're such a small pebble. They try to give you more credit, but we're such a small pebble of what the success actually is. We just got to give the foundation. But on that side of it, man, it really is just seeing the growth. And you know what's funny? It's not always growth inside of the industry we're actually in.
Right.
I obviously they still win here and they do well. But once they can get confident enough to know they can win, to see what they do outside of here. Like, not just in here. Bro, we're on your show right now. I'm fired up, dude. Like, we're on your show. I see tickers going. I'm like, what the heck is going on? This is freaking awesome, right? And you said, I prayed. I know I got to get my messages out. And look where we're sitting right now. And you're so gifted at this stuff, right? Someone told Steve Harvey to watch out. We're coming. But to answer your question, hope, based on both sides, but hope for the families that there is a better future and there are people that care about them. We can help them win. And then just seeing someone come in, get their license, get through that test, be like, okay, can I do this? And watch them coming in with a little fear, worry, and doubt, and then getting around our organization, getting around great leaders like yourself and the people we have, and then watching them just grow and grow and grow and know that it's not a job. It's something they can hold on to and keep, and just watch them grow into leaders they're supposed to be. It's the most fulfilling thing in the whole world. Money cannot, the feeling you get from that, it don't matter how much money you put in a bank account. There's nothing better than watching people win. There's nothing
I
better.
know that feeling. Now I remember when the team was called the Cross Country Crusaders.
Boom.
Because
shout out Milton Wright. No big deal. Milton.
Yeah, big Milton.
Milton, you better be good. Gets recorded, Milton. I'm giving you a shout out.
We had so many people on that call because it was all about helping each other and helping everybody get to a certain point where we're all accomplishing what we want to accomplish. So I'm going to throw this question at you. Being as though where you're at now, from where we came from,
yep,
where do you see this team going in the future?
I'm going to answer that, but let me say something about that call, because this is very important. So and I'll take us to your answer, because it's massive. But if you remember on that call when we did Cross Country Crusaders, we were not all on the same team.
That's true.
What that means is, you guys inside this financial service industry, there's, in the building model, there's different teams, stuff like this. So all that basically means is we were all helping each other with no monetary value, because we weren't all connected. And so when we held that call in the morning, it was something that we, and I'll say this, we started that Cross Crusader call, and they call it with the mustard seed, right? Just got to put a little mustard seed out there. It was actually an accountability call for the 3 people that were on my team at the time that I would have wanted to show up, right? Who would have known? That's really what it was. Who would have known by planting that seed that God was going to turn it into, he knew when we planted it, but we didn't know that it was going to turn into 3 years later. We did 3 years of 6 o'clock in the morning calls. Who would have known that he would have taken that and then took it to the whole entire company and having all these people on, and never once was there an exchange of monetary value, because I believe it's not about the monetary value, the money. that is going to impact and change your life. If you do things for the right reason and you actually genuinely do it for the right reason, God has blessings for you that you don't understand that are down the road, but you have to do what's right first. So my answer to your second. So that cross-country creator call was very unique because nobody was getting monetary value. And I've never seen anything like that before in my life in any one of these industries that it was like that, but it took leaders like all of us to understand the bigger purpose, right? So that was important. So because of that and what we're doing right now, in the next 3 years, okay, 3 years first, we will be over 100,000 licensed agents, hands down, guaranteed. There's 881,500 licensed agents out there right now that currently hold a life insurance license in the United States of America. I believe there's 100,000 in the next 3 years that want to be part of what we're building. They want to be truly independent, right? They want to be truly independent. They want people to treat them with respect and treat them like entrepreneurs. I believe there's 100,000 people in the next 3 years that are tired of being told they got to recruit someone to move up. I believe it. I did it for a decade, and there's nothing wrong with building. I love building. You saw how the companies were building. I love building. I love giving people opportunity. But the pressure put on people to have to do it, we are losing way too many good people in this industry. I've watched it over year. They need to still be here because every time we lose a licensed agent that says, I don't want to do this anymore because you're pressuring me, less families get served.
That's true.
The whole entire mission of why we all came in here was no family left behind, right? And I'm watching people say, I don't want to do this recruiting thing anymore. I'm done. And I'm like, you're done? Well, if you're done, but you're a capable licensed agent who you were supposed to go help no longer gets served. We're pushing people out, not bringing people in. That is, I'll be here for another 4 hours. I'm going to stop on that. Right?
Okay,
and then complete agent. But then put this down, put it on the ticker going across. In 3 years, we will have 100,000 licensed agents within Vantage Financial Alliance, and not because we went out there and recruited hard or did anything else. God's going to bring the right people over so we can build what is supposed to be done 30 to 40 years ago, which has not been done yet. We will build the next wave of a financial services company that cares about its people and make sure that the main thing's the main thing. And the only thing that matters is how many families are getting that financial education so they cannot be on the list of the 70% of people that are financially illiterate. Okay.
There you go. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. And we're gonna put that, we're gonna lock that away.
Lock it away.
When we hit that mark, we're gonna throw a huge party.
A huge party. Hey,
just so y'all know.
I don't know how you invite 100,000 agents and all their clients, but we better get a couple arenas, man, because we got to pack it in for Client Appreciation Day.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Now here's my next question. Out of all the people that you came in contact with in this industry, which person had the biggest impact on you upon doing this?
2018. Let me explain. His name is Jeffrey Scott Levitan. But let me explain that real quick. You guys, he listed off a lot of stuff. I was sitting in the backstage, and I heard and listening to it just blows my mind to think, because most of those companies you thinking about all started the last 12 months. The last 12 months, right? 9 years of getting after it. And the last 12 months, he said, oh, there you go, good and faithful servant. I was like, all right, God, here we go. It's time to get going, right? But it wasn't always like that. So let me get to Jeff in a minute, because it's very important.
Okay.
When I started, I told my wife, man, I want to do this. We had 4 children, okay? 4 kids, me and my wife. I'm working at University of Phoenix. She's working at University of Phoenix. The most we ever made in a month consistently was like $6,700. Like that was where we're at in our life at that point, right? And I was like, babe, I can do this. I can do this. My wife has had my back the entire time. This girl can get whatever she wants, whenever she wants. She's not like that. But I tell you what, oh my gosh, because when you say, I'm going to go do it, and you want to be an entrepreneur, it ain't rainbow and butterflies, okay? I had to take the version of myself at 33. And I'm going to be real with you guys for a minute. I had my first kid at 17 years old. I haven't always been making the right choices. You can figure out how that happened. You guys do that on your own, right? But I had a kid very young. So obviously I was running and gunning, right? Then I go in the military. I get cleaned up a little bit, as I say. Then I go into the workforce, and man, I'm in a military division basically. And you might as well have left me in the military, right? Hanging out, partying, all that stuff, right? So when I got blessed with this opportunity, I tried to bring my old self into the new trip, old self into the new opportunity. That don't work. So it took me a minute to grow. So we went through some growing pains, man. Like growing pains, like entrepreneurship, like how are we going to pay the bills this month? You just left your job. We're going full time. All this stuff, right? So long story short, getting to your answer, your answer to this question. Every day, I always pray and I say, man, I'm so thankful that my wife stayed with me, man, because I put her through some stuff, right? But I remember it was July 2018, and I got invited to this dude, Jeffrey Levitan's house. And I don't know who this guy really is. I know he's big in the company, never met him. I mean, I've seen him, but I never met him. And I tell my wife, I gotta go to Atlanta. And she's like, Jayson, we ain't got no more money, man. Like you keep going on these trips, but we ain't caking it up. And I was like, babe, I gotta go. I feel it. In the middle of the night, my wife could make this fast. My wife bought the ticket to fly to Atlanta on that Friday. So middle of the night, someone spoke to her, and then boom, and we rock and rolled. So I flew out there and I met Jeff in 2018. I got there. I was making about 60 grand a year in the company. So that's less than, if you do the math on both of us were making when we left our job. And long story short, I met him, and it took me about 2 minutes. And I was like, this guy's gonna be my mentor for the rest of my life. And it was the way that he carried himself. He was, I mean, you drive down his driveway, you feel like you're going, he lives a couple houses away from Usher. I mean, it is like a mile and a half. And I'm like, oh God, who's this guy going to be like? But he was humble. He was thinking about his people. His wife was in the house. The kids were in the house. That was a big house. You got to find everybody. But it was like, I said, you know what? In that moment, Leroy, what I actually said to myself was, all right, it's okay to be wealthy. Because I grew up with a whole different interpretation of what wealthy people are supposed to be like. And I was like, I could be another, right? You know this, right? So from 2018, he just started mentoring me. But here's the deal. No one just mentors you. When I got there, I was ranked number 60 out of 60 people that were invited to that event. I was the last, like the bottom of the barrel. And I said, all right, if I want to get this dude's attention, all I got to do, it's me versus me. And I promise I get in this top 5. He's going to have to at least know who my name is. And I went home and I told my wife, you bet on me, I'm done with all this crap. I stopped going out and partying. I stopped doing all that stuff we were doing. I stopped playing around. She bet everything we had on. Someone in your life is betting everything they got on you. They might not even be saying it yet, but they are betting everything they have on you right now. They're allowing you to be on this thing if you're listening. They're allowing you to go after your entrepreneur venture. For once in our life, let's stop for a second and say, am I doing what I need to do? And I got to that in that top 5. And I remember I crossed over 100,000 of income in the company. And he called me up and he said, hey, dude, you're on your way. He didn't make fun of me. He didn't tell me that I ain't enough money. He's like, dude, if you could make 100 grand here, you can do anything you want in your life. You don't understand and tap into that. And I tapped into it, and he's guiding me every step of the way. And he's got 30 years of industry experience. He's a serial entrepreneur. His net worth's 100 million or a little bit over that. He's got his All for One Foundation, so he understands nonprofit. And you got to choose who you're following wisely, because they will guide you, but they ain't going to do it for you. I never wanted him to do it for me. Never. When I met Leroy, and he ain't going to take credit for this man's got 30 years experience in the military. He'd be thinking I'm mentoring him. He's crazy, right? The reality is, right away, I said, man, that dude has information I don't have. I didn't do 30 years in the military, and I didn't do that. So there's knowledge there. So my other takeaway to, or answer that question is, I never took for granted any conversation that I ever had with him, even though they were short and spread out. But when he gave me information, I went. I didn't, hey, Jeff, why are you telling me that? Are you kidding me right now? When the coach calls the play and that's your coach, I've always been good at that. And Leroy, you've said things to me, and your wife Tommy have guided me on certain things. I don't question it. I ain't got nothing. You're a man of integrity. You're a man of God, and I know where your intentions lie. Why am I questioning it? So that to be a great leader, you also have to be a very good follower of the right people, because you have to take that. So yeah, in this arena, Jeffrey Scott has been a great guiding force. When I decided to make my decision, I got guidance from all my counsel, and that's where it put us at today. But yeah, he's been awesome. But I will tell you, he's a tough coach. He doesn't do it for you. He'll give you guidance, and he lets you think with your own free will to get there. And that's all you can ask for as a good coach. Like, he's going to let you fall in the mud a little bit. He ain't going to keep you out from getting dirty. So, but yeah, he's been instrumental in this industry, and we're just getting started with that guidance, man. So I'm super excited about that. Long answer. I'm sorry, but
Oh, no, that's great, because I can vouch that. Because when we came into business, my first year, we had 135 recruits. That's personal. That ain't even counting my team. That's personal.
Oof.
And that's what got me recognized with him. And he pulled us to the side and he said, who's your upline? You know, Frank the Tank.
Yep.
And I was talking to, and I hope I don't mess her name up, Awanda.
Awilda.
Okay. Yep. I was talking to Awilda earlier, and I was telling her about this. You know, my second year, 103 recruits, personal.
Just monsters.
I ain't even counting my team. The third year, 91 recruits, personal. But the whole time I'm looking at the boards, yeah, we taking over as the top recruiters in the company. But why am I not on that production board? What am I missing? And that's when you pulled me to the side and said, hey, look, man, I'm going to help you out. I see you and Tommy can recruit your butt off, because me and my wife had a system.
Yes, you did.
We had a system. My wife would go and she would throw the line out there, and you take the bait. And once she said what she had to say, I come up behind and I'm reeling them in, dropping them in the bucket.
Dropping in the bucket.
So now we're in a position where I don't even have to recruit no more unless I want to. That's a beautiful thing. You know how many agents out there that don't want to recruit? They just want to focus on helping families. So here's my next question to you. What makes your company the company that people should come to above all other companies?
Well, we covered the three basic things we said. Right. Like, we got that. But I'm telling you right now, the culture of this team is something that until you're in it, you can't understand it. Vantage Financial Alliance, the culture that we have built inside of this infrastructure, it is not normal in this industry for people to give their shirt off their back. You just told me you're talking to Awilda. Awilda ain't got nothing, ain't got no ties through the organization you're building directly. You literally just told me, which I didn't know you just said it out loud right now. I know we're live on this thing, but you're like, hey, let's talk to Awilda. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. Right. And then I saw her post in and talk to Leroy. He's helping me out. The culture we built. Here's what it is, dude. Anyone watching what's going on in Colorado right now? Let me talk about this real quick. I get fired up about this, okay? Anyone know someone named Deion Sanders, little Primetime? The guy patented his own name, by the way, Primetime, right? So you got Primetime, right? So you have Deion Sanders right now is revolutionizing college football, right? Revolutionizing college football. If you don't know much about college football, stay with me for 1 second. This is very important, okay? Deion Sanders decides, I'm going to coach some college football. Goes down to Jackson State, goes out there and just whoops up everybody, right? Boom, boom. And they're like, oh, it's just down there. No big deal. He said, all right, cool. That's cool. All right. God's calling me to go somewhere else. He goes to Colorado. Colorado ain't won nothing forever, dude. Colorado, I like the helmet when I was a kid. He ain't won nothing, okay? He said, I'm going to go to Colorado. Right now in college football, stay with me, there's a point to this. The NCAA has opened up what's called a transfer portal. So this is what it means. I'm a college football player. I'm coming out of high school. I don't really know where I really want to go, but whoever talks to me the nicest, I'm going to pick it, right? But maybe you make the wrong choice. Let's talk about the financial service industry for a second. I just get my license. It's kind of like a lot of information to get done, and I pick this company or that company, right? Because my mom works there. My friend was there, right? But let's say now let's go back to college football. You're a sophomore. You're like, I ain't really jiving with this coach too much. Like they sold me this dream, but now it's a nightmare. They told me I'm going to be able to come in here and make all this money. I'm going to be able to do all. Now I'm back to insurance real quick. Oh, I'm going to come in here. My first year, I'm going to make. They promise all this stuff, and then you're sitting here like, I've been here a year. I ain't made no money yet. They're making me do all this stuff I don't want to do. No one told me the only way I can get to certain levels, I have to do this, this, and this. Like, they didn't say that. They sold me a dream, but now it's become a nightmare. And I said, okay, but here's what happens in college football. They said, okay, if you get sold a dream to get recruited in, but you feel like you can't fit no more, we're going to do what's called the transfer portal. We're going to allow you to go to any school you want to go to. You pick it, and you go play over there. You don't have to sit out. I'm like, oh, that's pretty dang genius, right? Because how can an 18-year-old person pick the college that they're supposed to go to if they haven't even been in that college yet? They don't know what that environment's like. Mm-hmm. They don't know what it's going to be like yet. So thank God they opened up this portal to say, hey, dude, if this ain't going to be good for you, you only got 4 years to play football and you got to determine the rest of your life, you can go somewhere else. So Deion Sanders said, all right, let's build a culture that people want to come to. So he built this culture. They went 4-7. They didn't even win this year. They weren't even that good. But they're getting all these people to transfer over because he put the right coaching staff around him. He brought in his Jeff Levitan, some wisdom from the NFL, having an assistant head coach. He put all the staff around him. He appealed to what he knew these student athletes would want to be able to help them go to their next phase of their life. But the blessing in all of it is an 20-year-old, 21-year-old can say, hey, this isn't working. I'm going to move over. So why am I fired up? One, we got the culture. We got the team already. We've been doing it. People think we just started. We've been doing this for 3 years, Leroy. We've done Cross Country Crusaders since 2019. This ain't new. We already been rocking this. This mojo's already been happening. But why is it different if I'm 41 years old? I try out Primerica. I try out, PHP. I try out any one of the State Farm, right? I try out Fidelity, and I'm like, this ain't really for me. Why don't you jump in the transfer portal? Go do what you got to go do. Come check out what's there. This isn't like a prison life sentence. You go there, you see what it is. If it's working, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'll tell you what's important here. And this isn't just me. This is a leadership group. I firmly believe that these building models are special. They are so special. You can take someone, make them an entrepreneur. But I think for the last 40 years, just like college football, for the last 40 years, they've been trapping these kids, and they're trapped. And they said, we can't do this anymore. We gotta do something, or people aren't gonna want to play football no more. They ain't gonna want to play sports no more. They said, let's open it up. So Leroy, we sat down as a leadership team. We said, we got to open it up. We got to do something that's different than everything else, because we're going to lose one of the best models in the world, this building model, because it's being done the wrong way. It's okay to build, but the pressure, it can't be handled. Do you know that most agents that come in have families?
Oh, yeah.
Right? How many agents? We've done this forever. You brought a lot of people in. They got kids. They got spouses. They got jobs. 95% of the people start part-time. They got all this other pressure. This should not be pressure. This should be something that they enjoy to do and they love, and they can share with their friends and family and share with people they love. But they come in, instant pressure. Instant pressure. And it's pushing them out of one of the best industries. Dude, it's changed our life, Leroy. Look at our finances now. Look what it's done for our families, just being around it and understanding it and the people. So to me, what makes us special, man, our culture is on point. I saw Michelle just post. We got the 5 F's: faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. But dude, we love each other, man. We are a group of people that are going to revolutionize this whole industry, because when someone comes in, they can feel the family environment. They can feel the love. They can feel the appreciation. We have God first in what we do. We're moving this in the right direction. Culture is everything. Culture is everything.
Now, I know, and let me just do this right fast. Okay. I always like to ask people, what is the one thing that keeps you humble? Now, when I was talking to, and I really don't want to mess her name up.
Awilda, I got you.
Awilda,
I got you, dude. I got you.
I showed her the one thing that keeps me humble. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but this is my first check from WFG. Do you see that?
Yeah, you're balling right there.
You know, I keep it in the frame.
It's good.
And I sit it on my desk. I showed her this because when I got that check, I looked at my wife and I said, hell to the no, sweetie. I said, I didn't come in this for this. I said, I can make that on the street.
Oh.
She said, no, sweetie. Stay straight. Stay focused. We'll get there. Easiest thing to do is quit, which is true.
Fact.
But I'm thinking $33.55. I get that in retirement.
Yep.
I said, I'm not wasting my time. So the question came up, are you doing this for the money? Are you doing this to help families? So that shut everything down. Okay, I got it. I get your point. But what is the one thing that keeps you humble?
You know, that's a great question, because at the end of the day, man, we're here for a flicker, bro. Like I know what I believe in my life, right? And I don't want to push my views on everybody else, but we're here for a flicker. What keeps me humble is, at the end of the day, I remember the way I felt the day before I learned all this information that we were taught, and the day after all the information we were taught. So if we're talking about this space right here, what keeps me humble is this: we ain't bigger than nobody else. Every person has a right, and we now have a responsibility to make sure that they understand this information. So I don't believe that just because you grow up and your family's wealthy, that they should have more information than someone that grows up that's not wealthy, right? So to me, it is knowing that what this has done for our family, and it wasn't a product, it wasn't the money I've made, it's the information that we have gained. The information I learned that day in 2015 is what started all the businesses I have now. All that stuff I learned in that 30-minute conversation, past the power and lack of literacy from Jesus's brain and knowledge into our family. Now, the goal is we had to take that information and apply it. That's what me and my wife had to do. But here's the reality. It's a funny question because, dude, I've always been humble, because at the end of the day, like that's how I was raised, man. We were raised to do the right thing. We were raised to make sure that, like, your car doesn't define who you are as a human being. Your house doesn't define who you are as a human being. And there's so many more people that need our help. And I know that if I can go and always remember, I don't know so much where you came from. I understand that thing, but just understand that so many more people need help. And if I could be a little tiny drop in the bucket to help them understand and get whatever they have to do the work. Let me be clear. You could just give them you can give them the information, but there's just so much work to do, man. And I don't know, man. I always thought the people that were like not humble were kind of like, you know, I don't want to say no bad words on here, but like,
right.
Don't show me the wrong way. But what really is humility, though? At the end of the day, so, bro, I could lose every business I have. I could lose everything I have. Like right now, it could be gone to all the material stuff. I got my wife. I got my kids. They're healthy. I got my family. I got my parents still. Luckily, right now, they're still here. Right. Not everyone has that, dude. I know we talk about your mom. I mean, not everyone has that, dude. Like, so at the end of the day, just being grounded in what your core principles are. Like, really, is it really your faith, or is that you just people put that on Instagram? Is it really about your family? Like, is it really why you're doing what you're doing? Then you stay level. Is it really, 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 really about your is it really about your finances being in an order where you guys are good, but you don't have to be overly audacious with all the stuff you have? Like, is it really about those things? And you'll find out about people if it really is or not once they start getting success. Once they start getting success, you will not notice it when they don't have it yet. But success will show you what that is. And I don't have the right to walk around and act like I'm better than anybody else, man. And I'll tell you something that Jeff did tell me. Is actually Greg Kapp told me this. You know, he said, hey, just take the good from people and leave the rest. Stop going to the other side with people, right? So I took that deeper and I was like, man, I'm done criticizing everybody. Until the day that Jayson Bove can wake up and be perfect, which I can bring on a lot of people right now, I can tell you otherwise. I'm done poking at, I'm done worrying about everyone's indeficiencies and everything else. Because, man, I'll tell you what, we spend so much time poking on everybody else until you're perfect, which God ain't, you're only one perfect person, ain't you? Okay, it was Jesus, right? But here's the deal: when you think that way in your brain, you stay humble because you realize, all right, that person's acting like that, but I have my thing. I'm gonna take the good today. So it's something inside of you, man. I think humility is just how your core values are placed inside of you. And man, I just realized I never want someone to be like, man, that guy treated me like crap because of what I made some cash or something. It just, I don't want that perception to be out there of me, because it's not going to help someone. If you want to draw people closer to you to try to help them, they have to actually know that you actually care about them. Like, not to make money off them, but actually care about them. My first check was $42.42, by the way. So, by the way, I do remember that check. And I went around work and I was like, I had a different reaction. I got $42.42, and I started showing everybody at work. And they're like, what the heck's wrong with you? You made $42. I said, bro, if they can pay me 42, I'm getting the heck out of here because I know I can make more money, right? So anyway, so that was the difference. But
well, you had a different reaction than I did.
I was fired up, dude. I was like, $42. I was like, everyone's like, what is wrong with you, Bove? I say, dude, you're stuck here forever because you ain't got nothing to pay you $42. I'm getting out of this joint. Anyway, but yeah, it's just morals and ethics and staying grounded on your faith and understanding that we're all here to serve each other and help each other. You know, if you believe what you believe, but we're here to be in a relationship and take care of people. It doesn't mean you can't push people. So don't get me wrong. I'll be pushing some people that want to be pushed, but you still got to stay in that lane and treat people with respect and do the right thing. It'll help more people at least hear what you have to say. So, long answer.
Well, man, I will say this. The environment that was created, you know, everybody on there are truly family, hands down, because, you know, when you called me that night, it was 10 o'clock exactly that night. And you said, bro, we got it. And I was like, got what? You was like, bro, we got it. I need you on the team. I'm like, Jayson, what are you talking about? Say, dude, we got the company. We could do what we want to do now. I need you on the team, you and Tommy. And I was like, what is he talking about? I'm just waking up. I was knocked out when you called.
Yep.
And he was like, I'll explain it all tomorrow, man. But I need you on the team. I need you to go here and sign up. I said, all right, too easy. And then when I went to the site and I saw what you was talking about, I was like, what? I said, oh, done deal. I called Tommy. I said, baby, we there.
I love it, dude.
But the family environment, I think, is what so many agents miss.
Yep.
Because they don't have that, you know, and I think a lot of them would love to have that. And a lot of them are scared to leave where they are. But just if any agents out there watching this show, we have a place for you. We have a place where you can become family. And I just want you to know that it is an atmosphere that is all about positivity. No negative. We don't need the negative. Like I said, if you ain't with us, you're against us. But we would rather have you with us. I mean, I can't put it no plainer than that.
Hey, can I say one thing about the culture? It's important, and we're wrapping right now. Yeah. So my brother, I don't know if he's on right now, but I know he'll definitely see this. So my brother-in-law, Johnny, and myself. So in 2015, when there was, it was at our house, because we started this financial services company, and the elite brand, and just the culture and the idea was at a kitchen table with us and a few of our family members. And me and Johnny stayed in the business. But the whole way through, all we kept saying was, man, we're going to learn how these financial products work. I promise. We're getting there, right? Like, you think you'd figure out faster. We ain't the two brightest ones in the shop, but we're like, we'll get that figured out. We'll figure out how this comp plan works. We'll figure out, how to have that conversation with that 40-year financial advisor so we can make sure we're doing right by our family. We'll figure out how to build this thing and get people to be able to duplicate what we're doing. We knew we'd figure all that out. But the one thing we said all the time, the one thing we are going to protect, and guys, we've protected this for a decade, not for 5 minutes, for a decade, is the culture of our team. He was in the Marines. I was in the Coast Guard. We both got out and said, man, when you get out, man, that camaraderie is gone. That camaraderie of, you could literally in the military look at the person next to you and be like, all right, we're going to go on this mission and I got you locked in. We go home, I'm punching you right in the face, like straight up. I don't like you anymore. Right. But like, it didn't matter what was going on. You could count on the person next to you, because at the end of the day, mission was more important than anything else. It was the mission over everything, because in that situation, if it's not, you're actually physically could die. Like it's that dire, right?
That's right.
I played sports growing up my whole life. Good teams and then crappy teams. The crappy teams, no camaraderie. Everyone was in it for themselves. Everyone's all about themselves. That's all they cared about. Their own recognition, their own stuff. The good teams, all about the mission. All about the mission. We got to win no matter what. We got to win no matter what. We got to win no matter what, right? Whoever scores the most touchdowns, we don't care. We want the dub, right? When we sat down, we said, dude, that's all that matters. It's never about one person. It's got to be about the mission. No family left behind. We always say mission before commission. We've kept this intact for a decade. It ain't a thing. This is the most important thing on anything. Everyone tells me, well, I got this contract level out there. Okay, how much money you made in the last 12 months? No. It ain't about contract levels. It's not about what banner the company says you should be flying. It is all about the leadership of the group and what is the actual mission you are on. That's it. And if the mission is number one, you're not going to care who comes in next. And if they end up making more money than you, you're going to be happy, because that means more families were served. You're not going to care if you train someone up and they get asked to speak at an event and you don't get asked to speak at that event because they're called to do it at that moment. God's placing them there because mission's more important. You're not going to care if you walk in to the organization and you walk in the front door and you're like, I want to wear a hoodie, and this person wants to do this. And you're like, hey, just make sure your hoodies look good, right? Make sure you got at least an elite logo on it or something, right? You're not going to be worried about all the small, intricate things that you know are going to come. You think we're about to go embark and get 100,000 licensed agents in the next 3 years, which we're going to get, and we're not going to have some adversity? You're out of your mind. We are going to see so much adversity. You don't think that agents are going to disagree on something? Of course they're going to disagree. But when mission is number one, all those disagreements or this happening or that happening, eventually we get called to duty. We got to put it to the side. We got to go to war. And I'll end with this point. What war are we actually facing? I've been in this industry for a decade, 10 years of my life. 70% of the population was financially illiterate when I started. It's up to 73% now. It's higher than when I started. People are financially deemed illiterate. We still don't have the banking system teaching us what's going on with any type of finance. We have a lot of stuff going on in this world that is, you can turn on the news and figure out there ain't no hope out there. We have $84 trillion right now sitting with baby boomers. If you're on here and you're going to see this and you are a baby boomer, you need to talk to someone that can get you this video. We understand what is going on. We know that your Social Security, you're worried about, hey, is that going to keep coming in? We understand that you got a couple $100,000 saved up, but your health is great right now and you can make it probably to 85, 90 years old. How am I going to make it? We understand that there's a crazy financial climate going on, and right now your money's going like this when it should be going like this, and there ain't no safety on it, right? But why is no one calling your phone? Why is no one reaching out to you? Why are your reps on the phone putting everything into safety? Why is no one doing that for you? Because you answer that yourself. All I'm telling you is we have a group of people that understand fixed index annuities right now. There was $300 billion moved to safety. Did your money get moved to safety? Did your money get shifted over? Is your my parents are good because I understand it, but are you being taken care of properly? Let's talk about something else. You got $84 trillion that needs to go down to the next generation. You got kids and grandkids that you've built wealth for. Do you even know how to pass that down properly? I know you're thinking about it. Man, what happens if we both go right now? Why is no one helping you understand where to put some of that portfolio to make sure it goes there? Now let's talk to millennials real quick. You're about to get this money. Over the next 20 years, you go to any reporting database, in the next 20 years, that money's getting transferred down to you. But guess what? I don't see these financial institutions hitting you up on Instagram, doing a Leroy Carlton show. I don't see them doing this. They're sitting higher on their hog, hitting golf balls, do whatever they do. They can do whatever they do. I don't care what they do. But let me ask you a question. If you want to get talked to through social media, why can't we talk to you through social media? You want to do a Zoom appointment, why can't we do Zoom? You guys need to be spoken to the way that you like to be spoken to and get the same respect that someone 20 years your elder gets treated the way they got treated. We need to speak into you the way you know how to do it. I got a 24-year-old. He wants to text me. I'm like, dude, will you come talk to me? But he likes to text me from upstairs. I don't know why it's that way, but it's the way we are. Vantage Financial Alliance is a financial institution that will meet you where you're at. The agents will be trained properly to do a full diagnosis of your life. There's no way for us to know what we can do for you if you are not fully diagnosed. You ain't going to walk in the doctor and say, chop off my arm without knowing what the hell's going on. It's not going to happen. We will make sure that your family is protected properly with the right information, right? The same old ain't the same old no more. We have a huge financial crisis happening right now, and it seems like no one even is looking at it. But I promise you, our agents will be trained to do the right thing to make sure it's done for your family properly. And if you are 65 and you want to speak to us a certain way and you want it done a certain way, we will do that. If you're 18 years old and you want to snap this thing up, we do what we got to do. But at the end of the day, you all deserve to be treated with the dignity and respect you're supposed to have and learn this financial literacy, and you do with it as you see fit. Leroy, that's the name of the game at the end. That's what we're trying to do. That's the truth. And if you want to get in this industry, better come run with the right team because we got some dogs over here and some dogettes. We're going to make sure we do this the right way. So I love you, Leroy, man. You're the man. I see Mama putting some posts. Tommy, shout out. I wish I could. I don't know if you're anywhere around. Pop that face on right now, but I don't know how it is. But I appreciate you so much, man. So much. You guys are amazing.
Well, brother, thank you. I'm going to put you in standby, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up real quick.
Thank you, babe.
Guys, you heard it. You heard it from my man, Jayson Bove, successful businessman. And I thank God that I was able to witness his journey to where he's at right now. If you need to get in touch with him, he's all over social media. You can contact me. As you see, everything going across on the ticker. And like I promised, the book of the month. This is the book of the month. The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Great book. Put it in your collection, a must read. But this is the book of the month. Again, for all of you that came on and watched the show, I thank you so much. For everyone that made comments, I thank you for your comments. It's truly been a blessing to do this show with Jayson. I thank him for his time. And I thank all of you for getting on the show and checking out Jayson and everything that he's accomplished. So with that, thank you so much. God bless. And I'll see you all during the next show. Take care.